Welcome to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill Dement, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Hole in the Wall drywall repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Good morning, Bill.
Morning. There are many adventures in owning a small business, aren't there?
Yep, this week has been a week full of adventures. We have had some amazing time this week, and we have a special guest who's been with us for a couple days now, Will Nicoloso. Will, thank you for showing up today.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Will is a franchise consultant. He
All
owns
the way from South Florida.
He owns Man Consulting, franchise consulting, and he's been here talking with us a little bit about franchising and how we're going to boost our franchise sales. It's been pretty exciting. So, Will, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely excited to be here.
So glad you're here. And it's exciting because we know your background. You're a franchisor, an ex-franchisor who built a successful brand and then sold off, and now you're using that experience in your consulting company to help companies like Hole in the Wall really just kind of launch into the next level. So I'd love for our audience kind of to learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah. So Will Nicoloso, born and raised here in South Florida, and started a company called Magic Bubbles in 2007. We were a mobile detailing and light pressure washing company. I was 21. I had a little trailer, kept it on the side of my mom's house, so she didn't charge me rent. So that helped.
Nice.
And that's what we did, clean cars at your doorstep. We had generators in the
So
van.
you started out just cleaning cars.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And then fast forward a few years, we grew, got another couple of trucks, and we had a membership program. So we put your car or your house on a membership. So, $95 a month got you every other week car wash, quarterly waxes, and then, our house memberships were starting at $39 a month. And that included, a roof cleaning once a year, 2 driveways, 2 patios, and it was just that recurring revenue, that annuity that we always talk about that we love, right? So fast forward a few more years, always wanted a franchise, and we did that in 2016.
So what spurred you to want a franchise? I mean, you say you always wanted to, but what did you see there?
I think the biggest compliment you could get is somebody copying your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
say,
true.
hey, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a Magic Bubbles franchisee. And I think we built that, like we talked about last couple of days, is a business in the box. Why is somebody going to give you, me, or whoever $35,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 plus buying trucks and all that, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars? Why is somebody going to do that? So it's a great process. I think the franchise model is, I've always said it, I would be a franchisee too, in the right model. So
and we talked about it yesterday. Right. One of the concepts we love, it's a baseball analogy, but you don't have to go at bat. I can start you at second base.
Correct.
And that's what you were able to do with Magic Bubbles.
Exactly.
I can show you how to run the business. I can show you how to get your phone ringing. Yeah. And that's why somebody would do that.
Yeah. So we started franchising, and then everybody, the question that everybody asks is, well, why would I could build a trailer, I could build a truck, I can go to Home Depot and get a pressure washer.
Sure.
So we quickly realized that we needed something that's going to differentiate us. Mm-hmm. And we came up with a program or a call center, but we called it COM, C-O-M, Complete Office Management. So what we were able to do with the technology out there, right, today is we were able to, every call from every city that we were going to sell was going to go to our call center. And with pressure cleaning, we can measure your home online. We can quote the job, book the job, collect payments from all the franchisees, run all the email marketing, basically a centralized hub. So then the questions became, well, then it went from why don't I just buy a pressure washer at Home Depot and start my own business to, well, what am I going to do then if you guys are doing all that? Mm-hmm. So that was a switch, right?
Yeah.
So now and it's a great question. So that was when the answer would be, hey, you're going to be the door-to-door marketing. You're going to join the BNI groups. You're going to sponsor the Little League teams. You're going to go to, all the local events and whatever. Yep. So we quickly realized that we had something there for sure.
Well, it's important to have that back end ready, right? So
100%.
So if you're a single owner operator or you've got 1 or 2 employees, listen, it's a burden sometimes to answer the phone.
Yeah.
It's a burden to kind of get those estimates out. And with that position, it's even a little easier because it's a driveway. It's the costs are. Right. It's a fairly easy thing. So you could train somebody to build those out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're trying to figure out for us is we can do that too. We have a really great upfront modeling for that. So when you decided to franchise, how did you decide, who to go to and where'd you learn how to walk down that process?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, it could be an expensive process.
Yeah, it can.
When we started, we didn't have a whole lot of funds, and the big banks, they don't write loans based on dreams and visions.
Mm-hmm.
And so, literally just talking to people. We went to seminars and we were getting quotes for $180,000, $200,000 just to become a franchise. Ran into a golf buddy of mine who owns a restaurant in my town. He's like, hey, you should franchise this. I said, I can't afford it. What's going on? So we ended up, Thirsty Turtle is a restaurant, and Joe, and he ended up introducing me to Chris and Alan and those guys.
From FMS.
Yeah, the FMS team.
Yeah. So, had a great relationship with them. They were able to do it for, a fraction of that.
Yeah, it's a fraction of that price.
Yeah. And it's still
true.
a very good price. I mean, they figured it out. They have their own business in the box.
Yeah.
To
They
where
do.
they can
They
do
really
that.
do.
They got the brochure guy, they got the FDD, legal, and then they package it together.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
they helped me a lot.
Yeah, we've had Chris and Alan and Tim all on the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's a great team over there. And they really took some uneducated people like us
Right.
and really walked us through the entire process
Yeah.
to get to where we are right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Yeah. I mean, they did the same thing for me.
Yeah.
So, and they also helped me sell a few franchises down the road too. So it was great. It was a great experience. So we ended up selling 15 pretty quickly. And, in the franchising world,
You say pretty quickly. Was that like within the first 6 months, first year?
No. So we went out very slow. So to get our feet wet. So we sold our first one to an employee.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of how we were going to redefine the model and kind of make sure that comm system worked as good as we thought it would. So he was one of our best employees. So we talked about it, right? It's like, well, we lost an employee because I still had my, corporate operation like you guys have. But if that was just one of the things we had to do. So we learned so much just about he had to build it. So in our process, the truck at the time was taking 3 to 4 months to build. You guys see those pictures. So, we wanted to make sure that the timeline, if somebody bought, we don't tell them 3 months or 6 months,
Right.
So we went through that whole process, sold him that one, kind of fine-tuned the call center, and then started slowly turning on the switch of the pay-per-click and the portals and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we sold 2 more, and I ended up selling my corporate location, call it. We were doing about $1 million in revenue, 3-4 trucks. We had 9 technicians, 2 office staff. So a lead came in, and the guy just wanted a bigger start. So I think it was a blessing because when I sold that, it allowed me to just concentrate 100% on franchising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so that was 2017. And then that's when we realized, okay, we need a little bit of work, right? The call center now needs another person. We need to, we got royalties coming in now. How we tracking this stuff? Is the CRM right?
Yep.
Constant tweaks.
Yeah. So, and I, was told by a lot of people, don't grow too fast. Don't grow too fast. Don't sell 20 and you just can't build the trucks. You just,
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. So we ended up selling another 12, 2019 and 2020. And we are at 15. And that was, I would say, limited budget. I mean, that's what we could kind of handle as far as the call center. And, the rule of thumb that I've always heard is 15, 50, 300 in franchising. So when you get to 15, you start getting knocks on the door, or it's tough to get to 16, right? Or when you get to 50. So we started getting offers, and some private equity guys don't know how they even found us, honestly. And we ended up doing a deal with First Service Brands, who's owned by First Service Residential.
Yeah, that's a really big company,
Huge.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're publicly traded, FSV on the NASDAQ. It was, big. And that's First Service Residential. They own First Service Brands, which owns California Closets, Paul Davis Restoration, CertaPro Painters, Pillar to Post.
Yep.
Big names.
Yeah, big names. So we were under that umbrella. And it was exciting. I mean, exciting
well, I'm
times.
sure that.
We had celebrated a lot. So I had a business partner at the time, and he had bought out another business. We had 2 kind of private equity, or not investors, friends of mine that I just turned down their money because we were really good friends. And eventually I gave in, and then one bought another one out. So I ended up owning 65% of the company when I sold. And they do a 70-30 split. So they give you a price, and you say yay or nay. They give you 70% up front, and then you get a 2-year earn out. So I became the CEO under their umbrella,
Right.
and then of Magic Bubbles, obviously. And then They paid me, and then after 2 years, that was it.
You're done.
Got the earn out, and then, but now I'm here. I'm excited to be on this side of it.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sure of
I'm
it.
excited to be,
So now you're done. Magic Bubbles is in your rearview mirror.
I own 0%.
Yeah.
So now you got to find a new hobby, a
That's
new
right.
activity.
Yeah.
I do have a question, though, before we move on from
Sure.
that. And you just really kind of glossed over it. But I know that one of the differentiators your company had was the truck.
Yes.
Because I've heard you mention it several times
Yep.
over the last couple of days, and this was big for your company. So can you just take a minute,
Sure.
describe to us about the truck? How was it designed? Who was building that?
Yep.
How that kind of came to be?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, we had 2 fabricators in doing this. So there were Isuzu quad cab flatbeds, and we'd get them just with a chassis. That's it, where you can see the rear axle, right?
Yep.
Nothing. And then there was a company out of Miami that built just the beds. And then from there, we would ship them to either 1 or 2 vendors. A lot of custom aluminum welding, a lot of fabrication, and
So what was actually packed into that package on the truck? What? Because I've seen that, like the pictures
Yeah.
you showed yesterday. There's kind of a big tank, and I
Sure.
can imagine it's
So
got
we were, the
water
pressure
and
cleaning,
detergent.
the low pressure chemical cleaning. That's very popular, right?
Okay.
I've got about 20 years ago. So basically, you're cleaning with chlorine.
Okay.
Basically, our version of bleach. You dilute it heavily with water, and then you put some additives in there to make it kind of sticky.
Yeah.
So if you get the ratio right, it'll actually look a little bubbly, a little foamy, like the car, not as much as a car wash.
Yes.
And that's kind of so it doesn't allow everything to run off. But the trucks were designed to where we had the water tank, chlorine tank, and the plumbing was actually, amazing. So we had.
So you're not pulling up to somebody's house and hooking up to their garden hose. You
No,
got
I mean,
everything you need.
We could,
okay.
but I mean, for the most part, we can use the water on the truck.
Okay.
But we could flip a switch. So if we have a 300-gallon chlorine tank, we would fill it up, let's say 50, 60, 80 gallons of chlorine if it's empty. I could flip a switch from my water tank that would pump water right to the chlorine tank.
Oh, gotcha.
We had float valves so you couldn't overflow.
Sure.
We had air compressor. So the air compressor, like you would have at a body shop, would pump out the chemical line.
Right.
So we had a big air compressor on the truck. Two diaphragm pumps that were custom welded underneath the truck, and one was complete backup. So and they last between 6 to 9 months. So if they ever go out or start leaking, you could literally 2 valves you can go to your backup and you're working again.
Yeah.
So because we're using chlorine, it's obviously rust and things happen with fittings and all that. So, and then we had 3 24 horsepower machines on the back. I mean, we were cleaning like miles of sidewalk a day.
So did you
Like
have
a day.
competition? Was there somebody else that was doing that
So-
that actually went as far as
Yeah,
having the trucks?
That truck design came from talking to 2 of our vendor suppliers that are fabricators. So we were, and it seemed like the first 5 trucks, there's tweaks,
Right.
Always.
Right.
And then as technology evolved and the pressure washers got better, the tanks got different size and square, rectangle, whatever. So we would always play a little bit. We'd have custom doors, custom latches, hatches, all these things, and how to lock the stuff up.
Right.
So essentially, the office you didn't need an office if you were a Magic Bubbles franchisee. The office was a truck, right, for the technicians, and then your office was basically our call center. We were collecting payments. We were taking every phone call, every email that would come in for that location. So we pretty much did it all. So the truck was the business,
So
essentially.
you couldn't go to Home Depot and just buy all that stuff. Huh?
No, you couldn't. Yeah,
The
right.
the Ryobi battery operated pressure
That's right.
washer.
That's right.
Yeah, no, not
Yeah.
going to cut
Okay.
it. Yes.
Yeah. And then as we're talking about with the financing, we'd have SBA or whatever could finance the business part, and then we had people that can finance the truck. And then Isuzu got smart, and a lot of the big boys got smart about 10, 15 years ago, maybe longer. They would finance the build out.
Okay.
So the truck was, call it at the time, 50, 55,000. The build out was another 40, 45,000.
Right.
Fabrication equipment, all that. So you would get a loan from Isuzu for call it $100,000, and we would obviously oversee all the build outs and all that. And when the build out was done, we'd call Isuzu, the dealership, and they would say, "Yeah, we have the check for Blast Off or VC equipment. Those are the 2 companies. We have the check in our drawer. Come get it." And we would go get it, give them their
Right.
$45,000, and we have a truck.
Wow.
Take it from there to the sign shop and get it wrapped, and that was it.
Wow.
So financing is key. I mean, even it's a huge part of any business, right?
Sure.
But even the guys and gals that have maybe millions of dollars or a big 401k, if you can get them financing, they'll OPM, right? Other
They
people's
don't.
money.
Yeah, exactly. They'd almost always rather spend borrowed
Sure.
money than their own cash.
Yeah, establish some credit, establish relationships with banks down
Yeah.
the road.
Ready to start your own business? How would you like a jumpstart? Hole-in-the-Wall Drywall Repair is now offering franchise opportunities for strong entrepreneurs. When you franchise with Hole-in-the-Wall, We help you get up, running, and ready to start generating revenue fast. You get access to our comprehensive training program, continued support, and our proven business model that has allowed us to experience explosive growth. Achieve financial success while providing a valuable service to your community. Take the first steps towards achieving your entrepreneurial dreams. Go to holdthewallfranchising.com.
And being able to then take that experience, that's kind of the benefit that we love seeing in you for Hole in the Wall, because you were a service brand. You were somebody who was out there every day servicing customers, making sure that they had their needs met. Because one of our mottos in Hole in the Wall is it's not just a hole in the wall, it's a hole in your home.
Yep.
Right. So someone's home, someone's investment, it's like could be some of the biggest investments that they ever have is in their house. And so we try to make sure that we're not just walking to someone, oh yeah, I've seen this before. No, we want to make sure we cover, we clean, we make sure that job is done right. So you bring that experience from your industry to our industry as well. So I'm curious, because now that you've had a chance to kind of live in our world for a day or so, what are some good key points, some exciting things that you're excited about Hole in the Wall?
Yeah, I mean, one of the first questions I asked you was how many quotes can you do over the phone without going? Do you remember that? And you said 70%. And that was just like my light bulb moment, because I'm thinking for me, this could be Magic Bubble's just a different service, right? The call center sells a lot. You know, if I want to be a franchisee, if I can have a company that takes care of a lot of that, it's like the headache stuff, right? The calls, the good, the bad, what's my appointment? You know, all those calls, email, all that things you can quote. That was the first thing that I loved about it. And then obviously I saw the branding and the amount of time you guys spent, the marketing brochures. You know, I've talked to, just in the last couple of weeks, a few companies that have gone through the franchise process, but you know, the owner is in the truck or the owner is behind the register of a restaurant. You know, You know, you guys have built a model to where, you know, besides all the sexy logos and all the marketing and cute videos, you come in here and this is an entrepreneur business, right? I mean, and we talked about the house being the biggest, you know, one of your biggest investments, but I think even a bigger decision that a family can make is buying a business, because that could be 10, 20, 30, that could be handed down to grandchildren. You know what I mean? That's a huge, I mean, that's how you're going to live your life, right? So it's a big commitment for the franchisee. And if you can package it for them to where it's a win, you're happy, they're happy. I mean, it's a great combination.
They have the potential to create generational wealth if their business goes well.
Right. And then, you know, we never had our training facility when we brought franchisees in was, you know, customers' homes. We would follow a franchisee and you know, follow the route and show them and learn and how they do it all. I mean, you guys are in the process or almost finished building a mini house here. So, I mean, another light bulb. I mean, I'm just thinking Discovery Days coming down. You guys are going to cause some leaks in there. I was told, punch some holes in the wall and have the technicians and the franchisees learn from that. I mean, it's the recipe's there. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. We learned that doing drywall is a skill. It's an art. But 100%. So much more to the job than just patching a hole.
Oh, all the stuff going on around the repair.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and listen, as a homeowner, we know that, you know what, I may paint this wall, but I'll just be really careful. And I'm not going to put down plastic. You know, as professionals, we know, well, we're going to make a mess.
We're going to make a mess.
So we're going to put down plastic and we're going to cover it. But being able to teach some of those basic skills, that's one thing. I can take someone right out of high school and put them, you know, through training, and they're out there making money patching a hole. But what about the other stuff? What about the customer interaction? What about the marketing side of it? You know, how to show someone where to go to, whether it's going to be a referral marketing group like BNI or Chamber of Commerce, how to interact with people when you have customers who aren't happy with you. I mean, that happens, unfortunately, more than we want to.
In all businesses, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you look up your favorite restaurant, go online, there's some nasty reviews on there. You're like, well, that can't be that place. You know, it happens. Things happen. So, yeah, and that's part of the process that we had too, and that you guys are going to have is just, you know, education and training on the other stuff, right? I mean, I would argue that physically patching the hole or cleaning a roof or cleaning a driveway, that's the easiest part of the business, right? With the technology, the training, and the equipment that's out there. It's everything else. And that's kind of, you know, why people buy into a model, because they need that everything else part to make it work.
That's really, I like the way you put that. They need the everything else part. That's really good.
Right.
You should probably
trademark.
Trademark that.
Even when we put a technician out, as a lead, so they've been in training. They've got a few things under their belt, and they're now in a truck by themselves or with a team making the job itself, patching the hole. We say that's less than half of the responsibility. Right. They're in a truck, they're driving, so now you've got driving responsibilities. They're communicating with the customer, we're on our way, we'll be there. Oh, hey, listen, I found another area. Do we want me to add this onto your order?
Right. Yeah.
When you're in a house and all of a sudden you've got the Roomba is now vacuuming the floor while you're trying to lay plastic down on the floor, or you got the toddler who wants to bust through your containment and now you just drywall mud all over his feet.
Well, the old axiom is knowing how to repair drywall is 40% of the job. The other 60% is knowing what to do when it's non-standard or the wheels come off in the middle of the process. How do I recover this?
What did we say yesterday? You said anytime there's an issue that somebody didn't follow the 3 C's, right? And
we can trace it back to the 3 C's. Somebody busted through one of them.
They either didn't cover correctly, they didn't complete the job correctly, or they didn't clean correctly.
Didn't clean up.
Yep.
But as a lead, you have to kind of learn how to do those contingencies. Yeah. So we train them for that. And obviously, that's what the back office is for. If a customer's irate, they're asking something that's not reasonable, then as management, we take care of that call for them. But training our franchisees to do that is key. So that's why we've hired someone to kind of come in and make sure that our training is dialed into a team. And we've got all the stuff in the box. Now, we know what we want, and it's on paper. We have an online portal that, have you seen Trainual, where we literally have everything online. As from a service technician side, if they're in the field and they went through training, I haven't done stimple texture in 2 or 3 months. I would like a refresher. There is a portal online that go in. They can literally read the documentation. Here's equipment. Here's a video on how to do it. And I remember to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of our detriment for the beginning, not detriment, but just kind of one of our lagging things why we delayed is I didn't want to launch a franchise until I had some of these things done. I wanted to make sure I had the apparel dialed in. I wanted to make sure I had our logos refreshed and our trucks designed. And I mean, it's expensive buying new trucks. So I want to make sure we kind of had all that dialed in. But being able to do that, and now I can show somebody, business in a box, just a turnkey operation. It's kind of neat.
Yeah. No, it's a cool model, what you guys have done. And just the franchising, I think it fits perfect for it. And I think too, people might say, hey, why don't I just go to Sherwin-Williams and buy a putty myself, right? It's the same. It's very similar. That's why I love this brand so much, because it reminds me so much about Magic Bubbles and has the potential to be even a lot bigger. So, some of the mistakes that I've made was, I'll try to teach you guys not to do those. But selling too many, we sold a couple out of the state that, probably we should have waited a little bit. But it's tough. It's tough. You got somebody waving a fat check in front of your hand and they're qualified and they can do it. You just got to make sure that it's the right time.
Yeah.
And I think going back to the employees part is keeping the employees, the technicians, drones and Amazon aren't going to take these jobs, right? So you need great, technicians. But keeping them here for as long as possible is, whether that's by pay, benefits. And I think what people don't talk about is when you have a training program like you guys do, right away from day one, just the uniforms, the trucks, the training program, they already know that, okay, this is a serious business.
Yeah, and we're going to teach you a system.
Correct. Yeah. So right away, it's not like, hey, meet me at the gas station, jump in the truck, and let's see what you got. Here's a process. You're going to join the family.
Yeah, it's our culture of who we are. It's our core values.
Sure.
It's the training, and it's a level that we call it look and feel. We want to have that elevated. Listen, drywall guys sometimes have a history of not being the most, pleasant people.
Sure.
They may have
service industry in general. Yeah. Right? We're sweaty, we're tired, we're the tank top guys.
Well, this is part of the beauty of what we're doing though. Listen, home service is huge because people don't have the skills. I mean, my dad used to do everything at the house.
Right.
He'd paint, he'd change the filters, he'd refinish the floors, he did whatever was needed to be done. But people don't have those skills necessarily anymore, and they would rather write a check and have somebody else do it. Now, if you can show up at their house and you have what we would call the look and feel, you can put them at ease, you can instill confidence in them that you're going to do a terrific job. Man, you got a customer for life.
You always tell technicians, because sometimes they can get a little kind of forgetful to where, look, you guys go to 3 to 5 houses a day. So it's 20. This is just another house. But this guy that you're pulling up, that might be, he's put his life savings into this house.
Absolutely.
For you, you're there 2 hours and you leave. But
great point.
So it's just got to remember that, you're walking into somebody, somebody's letting you into their house with their wife, their kids, their, whatever,
Absolutely.
jewelry, their dogs.
Yeah, everything they own.
Right. Their whole life
Yeah.
is,
Exactly.
they're welcoming you into that.
Yeah.
So,
it's important to we can't forget that. Like, and you happen to be here right when we're end up helping this Gold Star mom situation. We're going to do a few more posts on it because she lost her son in the military, and she basically has entombed his room as, still a way it was when
it's
he
a
left.
memorial.
It's a memorial for him. And we get this phone call, and she doesn't have a ton of money, and she's just a mom trying to get out there and help. And her ceiling in this room has fallen down. And so, obviously, we helped her with that. We're taking care of that situation for
awesome.
her.
That's awesome.
But to think about, how many people have a memory or of something of value in that room, and then now there's this big, huge damage. So it isn't just another hole to us.
Right.
This is actually taking care of somebody's memories, someone's home. And it was an honor to go in there and help her. And I know it blessed our technicians who are out there as well as it blessed her.
Yeah, and in addition, it's an emotional need for someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a panic situation. So we're always in homes. I mean, we did over 1,800 jobs last year.
Yeah.
We were doing 35, 40 jobs a week sometimes in this location. We'll get phone calls from somebody who's like, listen, my garage ceiling just fell on my BMW.
Yeah.
It's happened.
Can you
bet.
come, help me? Or my mom and dad are out of town, and my buddy and I were rough housing, and I put a hole in the wall, and I needed it fixed before they get home. Yeah. That's a daily occurrence.
Isn't it funny how, you say drywall repair. Oh, my buddy owns a drywall. And then you don't realize like the stories you just said.
Yeah,
like,
everything
how much
it involves.
Impact,
Yeah.
Wow, that drywall guy really impacted me. Right?
I'll tell you the one I remember really well was there was an elderly couple. They had bought a new house on the north side of Orlando, and the house wasn't 12 months old. It was near Christmas time. They had all their Christmas up in the living room, and they had gone to Georgia for the weekend. A pipe had begun to leak, and their entire living room ceiling in this house is less than 12 months old, collapsed in on top of their entire Christmas. The tree, the presents, this is what they walked into. And so you wouldn't wish that on anybody, that's terrible. But it's beautiful that we're able to come in and go, you know what? The good news is anything can be repaired, and we're going to take care of this for you. Yeah. That never gets old.
Right. Yeah.
It's really when you think about how many times we have impacted people's lives like that, it's nice. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, my roof needs to be cleaned, so someone needs to come out there and clean my roof. But inside of my home, if I have an issue, if someone had a leak and all of a sudden they have like standing water in their walls, and all of a sudden you got to cut out 2 foot of drywall for an entire bedroom or more.
Yeah.
That's impactful. That's, they have to live with holes in their wall, and then they got the insurance claims and so you can go hire a handyman or chuck in a truck, as we call them, or you can hire me. Oh, my friend can do it on the weekends, or you can hire someone that will offer a warranty. Someone who's got hundreds of 5-star reviews and reputations. Someone if you go on a Facebook or Nextdoor or anywhere, and you ask who's going to do my drywall repair, you'll have a million people to say.
And one other piece of that you're completely glossing over is how messy drywall can be.
Sure.
It's dust.
Yeah.
If you don't take measures, that stuff is insidious. It's in your air conditioning, it's in your vents, it's in everything you own, and it's so fine. And we really have worked to develop techniques to minimize that and to contain it. And we always make sure our third C is always clean up, clean up.
Yeah.
Or again,
there.
It comes back to the home, right? It's would you rather have a dent in your car or a dent in your house or a hole, right?
Yeah, no, it's true.
I love cars, but it's it goes back to the we were born American dream. I got to buy a house. I got to buy a house for my family, right? So it's like, now you guys got to come and fix my house. Like, it's like
and it's urgent sometimes.
Yeah.
I need this done, please.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've had that a time or two with a realtor trying to close a house.
Absolutely.
There's I remember a couple of times, I don't know why it always happens. The inspector stepped through the garage ceiling. Can you, and they're supposed to close in 2 days. Can you? Yes, we can. We'll be right out.
Yeah. Shannon Musgrave was on the last podcast, and she's a realtor. And it was like multiple times. She's like, hey, any chance you can, we've got this closing.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, you could be a realtor's best friend. I mean, you could, because it's, to make their job easy, right? Is hey, let's clean the outside, patch the hole, right? Like, it's, I can't take pictures of this looking like that, right? For them.
Yeah.
So, no, it's
well, these are the avenues when we train a franchisee, like say you're in Nashville or wherever you're going to be.
Yeah.
these are the relationships you build. Obviously, we can help you get the phone ringing.
Sure.
We can help you, whether we just through our marketing channels. But, what do I do? If we're taking care of a lot of the back end and the business owners, well, what am I doing? Well, you're out there building relationships with realtors and roofing companies and property managers and solar companies, and people go into a BNI or a chamber of commerce, and you're putting that, we call it shoe leather in, where you're actually out there working the job because you want to be the first person off someone's lips when someone needs a drywall person. Oh, you got to call.
Yeah.
Got to call home.
Well, and the good news is what we stumbled into, not for sure knowing, there's a huge market for this.
Huge.
It's huge.
Yeah. I didn't realize how many contractors you guys, it's half your business.
Yeah,
right?
it's a percentage.
Yeah, business. We do a lot of business to business.
Yeah.
And we become here in Orlando, which is where we would train our franchisees, is we've become a very trusted partner. So if you own a solar company and you did some damage in someone's house, or you're a plumbing company and you want to do a repipe and there's a bunch of drywall repair, and you just say, well, hole in the wall is who we recommend, or we're going to send hole in the wall out. And the customer's like, hole in the wall, and they do a quick Google search.
Yeah, all of a sudden they know who we are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then in our case, it's like, and then we're going to have this technician show up. They can go to our website and actually see the technician's face, so they know who's coming in there. And they're all good guys. We got good techs here.
So it's important.
All right, so we've got this great franchise. You've got this great experience coming in the door. Let's talk about some things that we're going to do to just market the franchise side.
Yeah.
And just things that the baby steps we're going to take, the small tweaks we're going to take. And we've discussed a lot of this over the past day or two. But I'd like our listeners to kind of
Sure.
How do you sell franchise?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, right? I mean, I think with all the SEO, pay-per-click, obviously email, all that kind of stuff, the lead portals, right? How many times have you guys lead portal, right?
Yeah.
A lot of lead portals. And those are good. We've sold them, they obviously work. I think what gets forgotten a lot is employees make great franchisees. And not only because I sold one, I sold actually 2 to employees, but it's just the knowledge that they already have, especially when you're, out the gate, is important. I think people forget customers make great franchisees. They've already used you. They love, like I told you, I said, you guys have, I don't know how many customers, but a lot of customers. There's no doubt in my mind that you have 2 to 5 franchisees in that CRM.
In that customer base,
Yeah.
They're fans of the brand already.
Right? So, and if it's not for them, it's for their son or their friend, or, my neighbor just, he wants to retire, but he wants to do, he doesn't want to retire, but he's retiring, right? He's, he doesn't play golf every day. He wants a job. He's got an entrepreneurial spirit. You hear that a lot, to where a lot of guys or gals were, into the corporate world, and they just, I don't want to say got stuck, but, they had good salaries and you just couldn't leave that, but always wanted to own your own business. And they've always kind of had that passion about, I wanted to be a business owner. So, yeah, I mean, I think those are the 2 that probably get forgotten. And everybody's like, well, I don't think he or she doesn't have that kind of money or funding. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised with what is out there now as far as funding goes, and where people can get money from, and who just has their own money too. So those are the 2 that
There were some really misconceptions that I had younger in life.
Yeah.
Like, to buy a franchise. I think I'm going to buy a Chick-fil-A or McDonald's franchise. You need to build a building, and you just hundreds of thousands of dollars. And
Sure.
I always thought that franchising was just financially out of my realm of possibility.
Right.
But when I get into it, I realize that no, there's a lot of really great brands that are reasonable to get into.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have that cash in the pocket right now. So you got to have some money. And where's that money going to come from? Maybe it's a home equity line that you have, or maybe it's your 401k plan.
Could be a family member.
Could be a family member. My rich uncle is going to help me buy a business.
Yeah.
But whatever, I mean, and you don't need a ton of money. I mean, if you have a little bit of money, that's so you can live, because it's going to take you a few months to get off the ground.
Right.
And you can buy into a brand that can help you launch with some success. You're literally firing the man, and you're becoming the man.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've been working for corporate America. We're in Orlando, so we have a lot of Lockheed Martin type engineer kind of guys who got a great 401k plan, a retirement plan, but they're just tired of the grind of working for somebody else in a cubicle with a suit and tie on. But they want to get their hands dirty, or they want to hire someone to do that for them. And this is a great opportunity for that.
And I think too, you're in the business, you're in the entrepreneur business. You're not really in the drywall business.
No, it's true.
Franchising, right? Like, I'll steal Mr. Handyman's new line. It's, their new marketing campaign. It's not looking for handyman, looking for entrepreneurs. Something like
Yeah, and
that.
that's essentially what we're looking for.
I told you about my good friend that owns a 5-star painting. He does very well, and he said, I'm almost positive I've never, when I signed, he signed in 2007. when I started my company, almost to the day, randomly. And he said, I don't think can't remember a time where I actually painted anything before, and then all of a sudden I'm buying a painting franchise.
Right.
But it's because of like what you guys built. You don't need the best drywall repair guy to be the best hole-in-the-wall franchisee.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
if hole in the wall was an opportunity and I wasn't part of it, I would want to buy a hole in the wall franchise because I see it. It's so clearly. From the day that I started with the company, it wasn't Bill's Drywall Company. It was hole in the wall drywall repair. And it was an immediate, oh, I get this. This is a brand.
And to be honest, from that very beginning, it was designed every step of the way with franchising in mind. Eventually.
Yeah.
I didn't know when it was going to come, but I knew it wasn't going to happen if we didn't set the steps up in the right way.
Yeah. No, you guys did it the right way. It costs a lot of money to do it the right way, but it'll pay
And it's
dividends.
taken a little time, but
Yeah.
we're good.
I'm excited for you guys.
We got some
I'm
trial and
excited.
error.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's fun.
We're getting pretty excited too.
Well, I don't think this will be the last time you're here with us.
Definitely
I'm
not.
sure we'll do more podcasts, and I look forward to seeing you again and some of the new exciting things we've
I've
got
had a great
going
couple
on.
days. I've had a great couple days.
Yeah,
So, thank
we
you
really
guys.
do look forward to having you back.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 hours and 4 minutes door to door. So
204.
Love it.
That's it.
Listen, we'll meet halfway if you ever just want to do lunch or something.
Perfect. Let's do it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, well, this has been a great podcast.
How would someone get hold of him?
Yeah, you can email me or I love actually texting a phone, but it's 561-843-5128. And then you can email me at will@themanconsultinggroup.com.
Excellent. Very good.
Outstanding.
Thank you, Will. Thanks for showing up. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thank you guys.
We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a hole in the wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.